Imagine you're an early human living nearly 1 million years ago. There are no restaurants, no kitchens, and definitely no food delivery. If you're hungry, you don't open the refrigerator. You chase your lunch, dig it out of the ground, or hope it doesn't chase you first. But one accidental discovery would completely change human history forever. It wasn't the wheel, it wasn't farming, it was cooking. The strange part is that nobody actually invented it. So how did the first meal ever get cooked, and how did it help create the humans we are today? Long before modern humans existed, our ancestors ate everything raw. Meat was raw, plants were raw, roots were raw. Even chewing dinner felt like a full-time job. Early humans spent hours chewing every single day because raw food is tough. Their jaws were much larger than ours, and their teeth were stronger because they had no other choice. If someone offered them a medium rare steak, they probably would have asked, "Can you make it even more raw?" Then nature accidentally became the world's very first chef. Lightning regularly struck forests, starting wildfires. Volcanoes also set trees and grass on fire. After these fires, animals sometimes died and were roasted by the flames. Curious early humans eventually found these cooked animals. Someone, somewhere, must have thought, well, it already smells better than yesterday's dinner. They took a bite and discovered something surprising. The meat was softer, easier to chew, and tasted much better. Nobody woke up one morning and said, "Today, I'm going to invent cooking." It probably happened slowly over thousands of years. At first, humans simply collected cooked food left behind after natural fires. Later, they learned how to protect fire instead of letting it die. Imagine guarding a burning branch like it was the most valuable thing in the world, because back then, it actually was. Eventually, our ancestors learned how to keep fire alive for weeks, months, and later even created themselves. That moment changed everything. Fire wasn't just something that scared away predators anymore. It became the world's first stove. For the first time, humans could decide what to cook, when to cook, and how much to cook. Here's something many people don't know. The first cooks were probably not modern humans. Homo sapiens appeared only around 300,000 years ago. Evidence suggests controlled fire existed hundreds of thousands of years before that. The likely cooks were our ancestors, especially a species called Homo erectus. They weren't exactly us, but they were part of the long family line that eventually led to modern humans. So did cooking suddenly transform Homo erectus into Homo sapiens? Not at all. Evolution doesn't work overnight. Instead, cooking slowly changed generation after generation over hundreds of thousands of years. Every child inherited tiny changes from their parents. Those tiny changes eventually added up to something completely different. Cooking does something amazing. Before food even enters your stomach, heat starts breaking food apart for you. That means your body spends less energy chewing and digesting. You get more usable calories from exactly the same meal. It's almost like someone else started doing half your homework before you even opened the notebook. Now think about the brain. Your brain is incredibly expensive to run. Even today, it uses about 20% of all the energy your body produces. A bigger brain needs even more energy. Before cooking, getting enough calories was much harder. But once food became easier to digest, our ancestors suddenly had access to more energy from every meal. That extra energy helped support larger brains over many generations. Cooking didn't work alone. Climate changed. Humans made better tools. They hunted more efficiently. They cooperated in larger groups. Language slowly became more advanced. All these things worked together, but cooking may have been the upgrade that made the whole system possible by providing the extra fuel our growing brains needed. As food became easier to eat, our bodies slowly changed too. Huge jaws were no longer necessary. Teeth became smaller, faces became flatter, even our digestive system became smaller because food was already partially broken down before we swallowed it. Instead of spending energy processing tough raw food, our bodies could invest more energy somewhere else. One place where that extra energy probably went was social life. Cooking meant people gathered around the same fire every evening. They shared food. They protected one another from predators. They taught children. They probably told stories long before writing ever existed. The campfire may have become humanity's very first classroom. Now let's jump to today. For almost all of human history, finding enough food was the biggest challenge. Every calorie mattered. If our ancestors found honey or fatty meat, eating as much as possible increased their chances of surviving another week. Evolution rewarded that behavior because food was unpredictable. Fast forward to the present and the world has completely changed. Food is everywhere. We don't have to chase dinner anymore. In many places, dinner patiently waits for us in the refrigerator. The body we inherited was designed for scarcity, but the world we created is filled with abundance. That's why our ancient survival instincts sometimes encourage us to eat more than we actually need. The funny part is that your body still behaves like tomorrow's meal might not exist, while your phone is already showing you 3 food delivery apps. Evolution works incredibly slowly, but technology moves unbelievably fast. Our environment changed in just a few generations, while our biology is still catching up. The next time you cook breakfast, grill burgers, or heat leftovers in a microwave, remember that you're taking part in a tradition that began hundreds of thousands of years ago. Somewhere in ancient Africa, an early human took a bite of accidentally cooked food without realizing they were helping shape the future of our species. That simple meal didn't just fill an empty stomach, it helped change our bodies, our brains, our societies, and eventually our civilization. Sometimes the biggest moments in history don't begin with a brilliant invention. Sometimes they begin with someone looking at a piece of burned meat and thinking, you know what, I'll give it a try. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through the history of cooking and human evolution, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every week, we explore fascinating curiosity-based topics that make you see the world a little differently. Until next time, stay curious and I'll see you in the next video.